You've spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Where are you?
Whoa!
Hi, how are you?
I have to keep you on your toes because our guest is going to keep everyone on their toes. Plus, he's a really good friend. But how are you? You look beautiful.
I feel like keeping me on my toes is a bit of a pun. Is that what you're doing right there?
No, it wasn't. But that's triple time.
Is that a bit of a pun right now?
Yeah.
Hey, we got to clear up something. We got in trouble. Who's ever watching us? We got in trouble. If you watched last week, we have to apologize. So last week we had someone from creative planning on, right? Yeah. And we mentioned that we heard that Peter Maluk takes the stairs up so that he's never caught in the elevator with an employee to make them feel awkward, which I actually thought was really amazing. And I've been really like, maybe that's one of those things I wasn't even conscious of sometimes. And then we got feedback that is 0% true, that he takes the stairs upstairs so that he gets more exercise and that he does feel comfortable and feels like he makes his employees comfortable. So we got in trouble, and Peter's our friend. So we said we would relay that to everybody on here today.
Well, our guest has a lot of folklore about himself as well, of all the things that he does in the community and helping others. So it's a good thing. So I think creative planning is just one of the best brands in town, and everyone knows it. So, I mean, you know, when you have to reiterate the rumor correctly of doing good things to help others, it's good. That means there's other rumors out there of all the other good that they do. I can only imagine what the heart rumors are on the building of that when they drive by on 435. But speaking of good rumors about great people, Bank of Blue Valley and Burns & Mac are hiring. So that is not a rumor. Burns & McDonnell has literally over 1,000 openings. And when you look at their revenue, I think they just had an article come out of the Business Journal. I think they're approaching $6 billion. And when you look at Cerner at its peak, it's getting close to almost doubling it. So I think people, for context, need to understand what Burns & McDonnell are doing. And obviously, Bank of Blue Valley is growing not just in the Midwest, but throughout the country with their parent company. But they do local deals, and they do the $100 million revenue like Aaron Folk does at Lily and James. Has business been good for you?
Business has been very good for us recently. And I'm running it all from my bedroom right here. So that just means I have an amazing team, right? Because I am very lucky to be in this position. Let me tell you this really quick, though. I do want to tell you that Big Blue Valley is doing so amazing that today you and Will were supposed to host the show. And I was kind of jealous because you and I take turns, because I absolutely love our guest. He's one of my good buddies. But I was going to sit on the back end, and Will's so busy that he said, hey, can you pitch for me? And so now you and I get to host this show today. It's our CEO show. So we're just going to have one guest. We're going to get to him. But first, we need to know who's watching. Are you watching us on Facebook? Are you watching us on LinkedIn? Are you watching us on YouTube? And let us know what you do and who you are. Tons of networking happens over here. We've got 3 comments, all from one of my favorite people, all the same person, but I thought it was funny. I haven't seen him around for a while, so I'm kind of excited. So Randy says, so glad I can join today. It's been a minute. Are we still drinking? I have a Diet Pepsi. Randy, some of us are. And 1,000, holy moly, head over to Burns & Mac's website to look for those 1,000. Okay, nobody wants to hear anything else about us. Should we bring on our guest?
Yeah, I don't know if he really needs an introduction, but his story is amazing. And before we do the music, I heavily encourage people to also think about having our guests come and speak with them. And if you're interviewing at his company and you're watching it, this is only 1/20th of the story. So Aaron, Do you start the music, or do I introduce, or you introduce?
All right. What's this? Maybe taking it one step up. All right. Today, our guest is one of our good, dear friends, and we're super excited because his story is incredible. His business is incredible. His presence is incredible. Our dear friend. You like the music? Oh, you're on mute, Josh.
I'm great at this. Set that expectation real low. Can't even unmute.
You know, someone that does multiple podcasts and is one of the most well-known people in social media in Kansas City, you know, you're genius. It's like giving a speech or getting on. So, you know, we're super excited to have you on the show. I'm going to let Aaron drive it. I'm going to be the color commentator. So, Aaron, what question do you have for Josh?
Oh, God.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for coming and joining us. This is our CEO show, so it's a little bit shorter. So we're going to get right to the good stuff, right? Can you kind of tell everyone who you are, what you do, and why are you so known in Kansas City?
Dude, I wouldn't say that I am known in Kansas City. I am the founder and CEO of a company called Empowered Electric. We are a full service and commercial electric company that kind of does. We're known, our brand is the date night hotspot. So we do awesome restaurants, Corvinos, right on the plaza, a lot of coffee shops, breweries, high hospitality type things. But our business is the big dogs like J.E. Dunn, McCown & Gordon, Centric, things like that. So we do all things electrical related. We put light bulbs in, you know, crap like that. So not too exciting. You guys built me up too big, you know.
So Josh, when did you start getting serious about your career, and kind of what are your origins in Kansas City?
So I got really excited, you know, my mind's distracted with this quiet quitting thing. Like I went down the longest rabbit hole. Sorry to just derail this on quiet quitting, this rabbit hole of like how people think they're going to get to the top. And for me, like I was born the most statistic of statistic. Mom was a teenage pregnancy, dropped out of high school, abusive stepdad after abusive stepdad, eviction after eviction. I think we counted it up. I went to about 20 schools by high school. And so just really came from a rough past where opportunity and success and advancement, I never saw my parents get promoted. I saw them get fired a lot. I saw them call in hungover a lot. But actually see promotion happen was something I had never experienced. But luckily through sports and other people kind of believing in me and kind of breaking that bad narrative that was in my mind of just survival, I realized that hard work kind of bred to success. You know, Thomas Edison said he believed in luck, but the funny thing was the harder he worked, the luckier he got. And so whenever everyone on this show, or you two even attest to yourself, when you start working hard and you start seeing results, it's kind of contagious. You like it. You want more of it. And so early on in the construction field, I got to become an electrician, put the tool belt on, felt like a darn Power Ranger, and never looked back. I mean, I just was so filled with zeal and passion and energy that I loved it. And I started getting really focused on entrepreneurship through a lot of different events. But what I realized is the opposite of this quiet quitting thing of like, I see a problem, I don't like how I'm being treated, so I'm going to lay down and do the bare minimum. I believed that all my goals were on the other side of hard work. That if I wanted a construction company that actually cared about people over profit, I could start that company. I wasn't going to lay down and wait for someone else to do it. I was going to do it. So in 2015, I left my company. Basically 2-week notice, realized entrepreneurship could be something impactful, not just income-based, but actually in people's lives, and was like, heck, let's give it a shot. I'm young enough to jump out. And so I didn't wait for change to happen. I tried to just do it. And in 2015, like I said, I started a commercial electric company. The reason I'm kind of excited about this, and it's not official yet, but everything is looking this way. One of the very first projects we ever did was I painted water slides for the city of Gardner, Kansas. And so that was 7 years ago. I'm painting water slides as Empowered Electric, right? Because I'm not a painter, but I care about money and my kids. And we might have just locked down the biggest water park like in Missouri. And so going from painting water slides to a multi-million-dollar water park is kind of just a fun full circle event that's happened recently. Yeah.
No
Sorry, I don't know if that
No,
answers your
no, no,
question.
it's great. Fun little tidbit. If there's a company that's in the insurance called Haas Wilkerson off Shawnee Mission Parkway, they have a beautiful building, but they insure a lot of the water parks throughout the country. So fun food for thought of someone to network with. And when you talk about your grit and desire, obviously the story you told, it occurred and it's motivated you, but you've been having success for many years. Now with entrepreneurship, there's a setback every week, but what keeps you going or reinventing what is next for Empowered Electric?
Yeah. So I'm sure every one of you has that story, right? For me, it's opening up the fridge. There's this B.O.B. and Taylor Swift song, which B.O.B. was on track to be one of the greatest rappers of all time. And then he just went off the deep end in conspiracy theories and flat earth theories. Very sad, but he wrote the song like Airplanes with Eminem and things like that. But he's got this song with Taylor Swift called You and I. And he says, when you open up the fridge about 20 times and you still can't find no food in it, it's foolishness. And I remember being a young kid, like opening the fridge like fast or slow or turn the lights off and turn it on, like hoping something was going to be in that fridge. And all I see is the back wall and like mustard, like you always got mustard or a condiment in there. And that was poverty to me. That was like, yo, dude, I don't have my needs met. I don't have my wants met. I don't even know what a full fridge looks like. And that's what drives me is I know what's back there. I know what laziness gets me. I know what this victim mentality gets me. I know what Section 8 housing looks like and welfare food stamps look like and feel like. I still, every time I swipe the dang debit card, I'm like scared it's going to say declined and they're going to tell me I have no money because that happens so often with EBT cards growing up, like insufficient funds say insufficient person, and that's how you feel. So I know what that feels like. I don't ever want to feel that again. And I don't want my kids to know. They'll have their own stresses. I don't want them to have my struggles. They don't know what an empty fridge. We got like 3 fridges in our freaking house. Not one of them's empty, And so I think that's what just drives me is that, dude, I don't want to go back. Like a better future is forward, and it's forward through massive action, massive immediate action. So that's what keeps me driven. And I think there's this sense of like, responsibility. Like even right now I'm in my office and I'm working, and it's funny how often I'll say to myself, earn your paycheck, I'm the founder and CEO. Like ain't nobody signing my paycheck but me. Yet I feel this sense of responsibility to the 64 people that work here at Empowered Electric, that their paychecks depend on me landing more work, making more connections, making the right hires, making the right decisions. And rather than looking at YouTube and doing all this foolish crap that wastes my time, I'm like, yo, dude, are you earning your paycheck today? And I think that's important as leaders. Like it's easy to be like, whoa, we made it, guys. Put your feet up. Let's record a podcast at 3:00. We made it. Let's coast. It's like coasting gets you nowhere. Coasting leads to layoffs. Coasting leads to downsizing. Like I'm not about that life.
You're also very transparent. So one of the things that you probably don't even know that was such a big deal in my life when we met is that you had just made the Inc. 5000. I'm not sure if it was the first time you made it, but it was one of the first times you made it. And I said, whoa, you're this many million a year because it says it in there. And you said, yeah, but Aaron, and I said, that's so much more than me. And what you said to me is, but that includes every light bulb I buy, right? And then I resell. And you've got service hours and I've got product and service hours, and it's not apples to apples. And you really broke it down for me, where I think a lot of people in your situation would have been like, yeah, thanks, So how do you I think it's awesome to be like, I made it, but still you really keep it real for everyone. So how are you able to do that instead of just be like, oh yeah, thank you? Like what part of you do you think keeps that transparency going?
Yeah. So freshman year in high school, I lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma for about 6 years. We went down there because my mom gave a kid up for adoption. So moved down there, gave my brother up for adoption, stayed down there. It is hot AF down there. All the dirt is red, stains all your white K-Swiss sneakers pink. And so we ended up coming back, and I was the new kid once again, poor, lived on a street that was Section 8 housing. It was known in the small town as like where drugs, prostitution, a lot of violence happened. Cops were always there. I took my kids by it the other day just to show them like where I lived. I still remember the duplex, still remember where we lived. And I started to get some success, right? I started to feel good about myself. I had made the football team. I was doing well. I made the wrestling team. I was one of the only freshmen. There was 2 of us that made varsity as freshmen. And I was feeling good about myself, right? Like nobody knew about the adoption. Nobody knew about the poverty in Oklahoma. Like I'm kind of getting a rhythm for myself. And there was this guy who was always just an a-hole. He just was not a very nice person. And he was a very successful wrestler. And one day, for whatever reason, it was in the wintertime. I was going to have to walk home after practice. I'm super sweaty. It's super cold. Maybe he realizes they need me, so he's going to drive me home. So he offers to drive me home. And as we're driving, I'm like, feel awkward as heck, right? Because like this guy's the big wig and rich family and all this kind of stuff. And as he drove me to down this certain street that's known for drugs, that's known for violence, that's known for Section 8 housing, I'm about to get out and I'm like, whoo, I got away from this guy without him saying something stupid and causing a fight. And right when I go to open the door, he goes, I should have known you were one of those kinds of people. Literally his words. I should have known you were one of those kinds of people. And got out, and it stung in my mind, right? Because like he was verbalizing what I had felt my entire childhood. Whether it was free and reduced lunches, whether it was wearing the same shoes 2 years in a row, whether it was having one pair of jeans. We used to take the city bus to the laundromat, wash all our clothes, and then you would strategically stuff the laundromat and use a towel to like hold it all in place and then carry it home because we couldn't pay for the cab ride home. I always felt like one of those kinds of people. He finally said it. And when you feel that way, I don't think you ever want to make someone else feel that way. And so I don't care if I'm better than you. I don't care if I have more money than you or a bigger company or whatever. What kind of person are you? I want to be known as a kind person, an empowering person, a person that believed in somebody. So yeah, what does it benefit me, Aaron, whenever I go, oh man, we did 7.6 million. And you're like, we did 1.2. And I'm like, now you'll get there one day. Keep it up and you'll be like me. What does that do? That does absolutely nothing. It's disgusting. And so luckily for me, I had a lot of really terrible examples in my life of who I didn't want to become. And I think if all of you, we look at social media and you look at all these influencers. I don't want to be an influencer. I want to be an example. I don't want you to be like me. I want you to see me and go, hey man, if he can do it, I can do it. If he can grow, I can grow. If he can grow the right way, caring about people and being transparent, why don't I be transparent and see what that gets me? And so I think that's why I did that. I mean, you can love me or hate me. There's only one person I know in Kansas City. Two people in Kansas City that don't like me, and I don't care, so that's it.
Yeah. If you don't get people that don't like you, you're not creating enough friction for change. And I had someone at an event ran into a friend of mine this weekend at a country club and said something really mean about me. And so I was upset about it. But I think the thing that you and Aaron have is that you either protect what you have or you create and have other people rise up with you. And you both know that you can create and have other people rise with you. And so when someone's looking to come work for you, they find you through podcasts, they find you through being a social media influencer, they find you through company, they find you through referrals. So when they get in the door and you find them, what are you telling them about your company and what do you look for and when you're hiring those folks?
So for us, so one of the big things that we say, it's one of our core values, is we say that we want people to come work with us, not for us. And I think that's really important. So early on also, I remember it was like year 2 at Empowered. We were at a public bid opening, and that's whenever you have to turn in a bid in a sealed envelope. It's like notarized and stamped, and it's very official. It's usually for cities like schools and city halls and things like that. And we're doing this job, and it's like the closest thing to a beauty competition you'll ever see me at based on this, you know what I mean? And so they're ripping open and reading these numbers, and I win every single bid until the last gosh darn one. I beat 10 other electrical contractors. I'm like, I'm going to win. Last one's open. This other company wins. And this other company just so happened, there were like 3 or 4 people that had recently left them and came to work at Empowered Electric for a variety of reasons. And I'm walking out the door and I hear Josh. And, I look, I kind of look and I don't see who it is. And it's Josh from Empowered. I turn around and it's this guy. And you could tell he's just mad at the world, right? And he goes, hey, when are you going to stop stealing my guys? And I said, hey, when are you going to stop treating people like you own them? I said, they're coming to work with us. They don't want to work for you. And just notice this. This is year 2. I go, they're taking less money and no benefits to leave your company. I think the problem's you. It's not me, right? And that's what people want, right? So like going back to the quiet quitting, which I don't think is an effective strategy, people want to be seen, heard, and valued. You know, it's amazing to me how many people will spend tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on things to help their company culture, but they just won't remember the person's name. Like, remember your person's name. I understand you might have 100, 200, 1,000 people. It's worth it to remember somebody's name. So one of the things I do is I'll always have the people's names and their spouses' names and their kids' name on a piece of paper. And whenever we have company parties or events, I'll review it because I'm human. I don't remember everyone's names, but I care enough that I'll review it and be in the bathroom hiding, review it, come out and like, oh, hey, Daniel, is this Cheryl? Hey, good to meet you, yada, yada. Like, I'll do that to like validate them. Scott, you probably just remember everybody's names, but I have to like make sure that like, I don't want my ignorance to make them feel unvaluable. And if people made their people feel seen, hey, I see you. Like you were talking about Peter Maluk taking the stairs, like get on the elevator and look at them, talk to them, ask them questions. Is there anything that I can do to help you? Maybe there's not, but they're going to feel seen and heard, right? They're going to talk to you and stuff. And then, yeah. So, you know, every CEO or every business owner listening here, stop wasting your money on bullcrap apps and see, hear, and value your people. And if you don't, there's no technology that's going to replace that. You can't outsource caring. You know what I mean? Like, I do love More Than a Meal. Shout out More Than a Meal, Mitch Case, right? But like, you can't send food to somebody if you don't actually care. Like they're going to be like, whatever. Like, I don't
even think you get there, right? I don't even think you get there.
And
And then real quick clarification, Josh and Peter Maluk, do remember everyone's name of their company. And then the people that aren't even in their company, for clarification, Aaron and I got that wrong. So you go out of your way, not just with your associates, but people that you don't know, which is mind blowing because you run amazing companies. So Aaron, your question.
So one of the ways that we say to them is, hey, we want you to work with us. It instills ownership, value, all those types of things to them. If they're not excited about working with us and treating Empowered Electric like it's their own, I don't want them to be here anyways. I want them to feel and behave like an owner, and I want to reward them also like that. Okay. So that's how we kind of, what was the other question? So that's how I try to get people.
Yeah, no, Aaron's going to ask the next one. I just want to make sure that people are watching the podcast, they, and I think you articulated working with you, and that's why they work with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge.
Can we talk about how you're in the trades and how I feel like more than ever, at least from where I'm sitting, people are we're having that trades conversation again, right? And what you're doing to keep up as it feels like finally people are pushing people to go back into the trades. The college conversation is not as heavy as it was, you know, at my age. And so how are you staying up and becoming the trades company that they want to come? And are you doing, I know you've kind of got, maybe talk about your internship program and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we do have an apprenticeship program. So what's funny is people are like, I heard Gary Vee talk the other day, and he was like, kind of like, hey, forget college, but I love trade school. And I'm like, hey, I actually hate trade schools too. This is why. If you go to a trade school and you drop $20, $30, $40, $60,000 out of your own pocket, it's not as good as if you work for Empowered Electric. We actually put you in, so you go to work Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30, and learn on the job. And then 2 days a week, we enroll you in trade school and we pay for it. So like, not only are you getting to go trade school, but you know that when you're learning and doing it at the same time, it's way better. So if you just go to trade school and you're like, hey, I'm a journeyman, it's like, no, you're not. You got to learn on the job also. So we put people through an apprenticeship program day one. We pay for it. You know, it's a lot of fun for us. But one thing that I'm doing, it's funny how like, you know, I'm kind of criticizing quiet quitting, but it's like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all this stuff. We just got 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. What up? On our YouTube channel. Yeah, it's a little hard to grow on there. But doing like DIY stuff, you know, people say when you post stuff, you know, it should be education, inspiration, or entertainment. best if you do all three, right? And so we're going where the kids are. We're going where these people are, not where we think they should be. Well, they should come to our trade booth. Man, they're not coming to your trade booth. That's stupid. And even I tried to go to a trade show and they kicked me out because I brought head-to-head basketball. You know, where like NBA shootout. Everybody was like, no, it's got to be craft related. You need to show them how to like put in a light bulb. I'm like, nobody wants to stand in line to learn how to put in a light bulb. People want to stand in line to play freaking NBA basketball. Things like that. It's like, dude, do you want to like be noticed or just present yourself in that way? So yeah, it's just like something where we go where people are looking. So we also and people are like, well, how did you do that? I Googled every high school in Missouri and Kansas, went to their website, looked up the guidance counselor, emailed them. This is who I am. This is what I've built. Can I talk to your entrepreneurship class, your VOTEC class, or a whole freaking assembly? Let's go. People are like, well, how'd you do it? I just told you. A lot of emails, a lot of clicks. And so we go and speak to local high schools about the trades. And if you get me into a room with a bunch of high schoolers, I'm going to murder. The way that I learned how to talk was I spoke for 5 years at a juvenile detention center to 12 to 17-year-olds. You think I can keep their attention, but I can't keep yours? I can bring candy to the high school. I couldn't bring candy to the juvie hall. Like, I'm going to keep your attention. And so that's what I do. I don't expect him to come. Kevin Costner ruined entrepreneurship, ruined it in Field of Dreams when he said, if you build it, they will come. It's not true. You could build the best business in the world, but if you don't go out there and find these people through hunting and farming and getting out there, they're not going to know about you.
I think that's a really good point. No, I think that's a really good point to even the diversity conversation, right? Like that's what I always hear from the best diversity trainers, that you have to go out there and be really intentional because people just don't come.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I want to tell you that
I just got this thing. I just won $1 million job while we were on this phone that I've been working on, baby. Like, that's the thing is in construction.
Someone handed you a note. They just won the job. What a great day.
Mid rant, I'm like shooing him away. Like, hey man, I'm like trying to.
Hey, come back.
Yeah. No, but it's that whole thing of like, so in break the norm. So why did I become friends with you? I mean, we worked together, or we knew each other for years before we worked together. I think I reached out to you, stood you up, then paid for it with like coffee and donuts or something.
No, that's not what you did. You stood me up, but then I said you stood me up, and you said, that's not who I am. I'm going to make up for it. And you showed up to our office with a gift card for everybody to eat lunch on, my entire team, all 15 people to eat lunch that day. And he said, I'm not that person.
But think about it. So like, it will help your business the more that you pay attention to me, like a construction company. It will help my business to pay attention to you and your reach on LinkedIn. It's like when you start to think like, well, this is how construction is. So construction is usually you just low bid wins, right? Just bid the job, throw out RFPs, proposals, and hope for the best. I'm like, I want to sell this. Go out to lunch, ping them, tag them. So one of the things that we did so well is our Instagram is all about our customers. And it's almost like everybody loves compliments, right? Scott, you're great at compliments. Well, I compliment you on social media. So when you hire Empowered, you also get the publicity from our reach. You know what I mean? And it's like just a different thing that I learned from both of you. But like people want to pretend like it's a waste of time. It's like, cool, then just keep bidding things the way that you're bidding and you'll die like the dinosaurs. Like, learn to adapt.
Dan says he's a huge Josh fan.
Hey, Dan.
Morgan says, congrats, Josh, on your success. And Janae says progressive workforce development model. She loves that. Okay, we got 1 more minute because we don't want to take more of your time than we promised. Tell people, like, what is your word of advice when people give you 60 seconds? What's your word of advice you tell people?
So the biggest thing that I'm a believer in is your past does not dictate your future. Like, just 100%. Like, one of the worst things, trigger warning, one of the worst things that you can do is go to a counselor and just talk about your past. Your past is not the problem. Your present reaction to your past is. Focus on your present. What can you change now? What can you do now to ensure that the person that you're looking forward to is going to be proud of the decisions you made? forget your past. I don't care what you did when you were 16, 17, 23. I do not care. What are you choosing right now? This is all you're in control of. And this is what I said to for 5 years, these juvie hall kids. I don't care who your mom is. I don't care what your DNA and genetics are, what your zip code is. None of that matters. Who do you want to be? Start making steps today to become that person.
Awesome. Well, we really want to thank you for coming on. You were amazing. You can reach out to Josh right here on LinkedIn. If you're watching from Facebook or YouTube, go to LinkedIn. He is tagged there, or at Empowered Electric, at Josh Levin. Yeah. Say your last name for me.
So it's Josh Levin on Instagram. It's at _Josh Levin. And yeah, it's thank you both for what you do. I mean, tirelessly, you guys do this show all the time, and you connect people. You bring positivity and energy. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I joke, dad joke. We make Kansas City brighter, electric company, get it? But both of you also make Kansas City brighter. And I'm proud that we live, I was going to say together, but that's weird. We don't live together.
We are growing up together.
We're old. We'll live in one of those old places. Awesome, Josh. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We will be here same time, same place next week. Go follow Josh. You will not regret it. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thanks.